Okay, the last speaker card we have is from the councilman's office. Mr. Torossian?
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for volunteering to be here and to serve our city. Karo Torossian, Planning Director for Councilman Krekorian, 200 North Spring Street, Los Angeles, California. The council office did not support the original proposal, which had 30 units. Actually, a prior proposal prior to that even had more. The council office did not support losing the 2 camphor trees on the property. The council office requested additional open space on the property from what they had originally proposed. And the council office required the guest parking that is on the property today. Having said all that, the council office currently supports these staff recommendations fully. The site has been at Cultural Affairs Commission multiple times with no historical findings made. The council office protected the camphor trees as I indicated. This site would have a by right of 35 units. With density bonus, it actually could go up to 48 units with 45 feet of height, and because of state law, AB 744, and its proximity to the Orange Line station of 1/3 of a mile, it actually would only need to provide half a parking spot per unit. So you would have 48 units, 24 parking spots on this site, and we did not feel that would be an appropriate project for this site, and the much less dense project that we have in front of us is much more appropriate for the site, because a project with 48 units and 24 parking spots would actually tremendously cause a parking problem in the community, as opposed to this project, which is only 26 units and provides more parking than is allowed by code, by state law. And they would be able to do that without applying for anything but a specific plan permit compliance, and then going upstairs and getting their density bonus by right, by state law.
May I inquire?
Please.
Before tonight, did your office receive the same input that we're receiving this evening?
Yes.
In other words,
Our office has been working with the neighborhood council, the community groups, and the developer for about 1.5 years on this now.
so you've heard these concerns like we have?
Correct.
All right. Now, for us, conspicuously absent from the packet we have, and from many of the presentations this evening, is anything from the neighborhood council?
The neighborhood council took no position on this project. The land use committee supported it, but the neighborhood council was deadlocked and took no position on the project. I don't want to speak for the neighborhood council, but that's what occurred.
Thank you very much. I have no questions. Do you guys?
So really quick, so the neighborhood, the community, the developer, your office have been working together for the past 1.5 years?
Correct.
Okay.
And that's where a lot of the change is addressed with this space right here, with the alignment of this driveway so that it aligns better with the street, with the guest parking spots, are all addressed. And actually, one thing that wasn't addressed is the amount of actual parking that adds on to this section here. With the removal of the street, you actually get additional you get additional street parking here beyond what the guest parking numbers are, because you've gotten rid of a couple of the driveways that were taking up spaces. You've consolidated all of that into one drive aisle instead of, I believe, 2 street cuts and a street going through it.
So 48 units essentially by right.
48 units by specific plan permit compliance, and an application upstairs at the building department.
Have there been discussions about what kind of relocation assistance will be provided to the residents of these 9 units?
I believe that they went through the relocation process. Our office was not involved in that. It was the housing department and the applicants and the developer.
Does anybody on staff know that, how that works?
If I may, Kevin Jones from the LA City Department of City Planning. If these are in fact, since these are rent stabilized units, there are provisions about relocation fees that are available under the Los Angeles Municipal Code that's administered by Housing and Community Investment. It varies from the age and the number of people that are part of a dwelling unit, and it's governed by that, which is why it's not part of this, because it would be the standard that is available under the Los Angeles Municipal Code.
In an existing lease or a month-to-month, it doesn't make any
It
difference.
wouldn't make a difference.
That's what I wanted to be sure of.
There is no difference. If there is an occupant there, a person has, and the applicant is required to provide or to comply with the provisions of the Los Angeles Municipal Code as administered by the Housing and Community Investment Department.
And so they'll get a payment of some type to move.
Depending on how long.
I'll
they've been
just
there.
say that it needs to comply with the provisions of the
And
municipal
it
code.
does.
I have a question. When working with them over the time of this, and the neighborhood may not believe this at this point, but the small lot is way better than an apartment house.
I believe so.
This is still really dense, these streets are tight. And did you consider trying to work this so there was even less than 26?
We did, well, we brought it down from the original, which I believe was somewhere around 32. I don't believe that there was any approvals that we could have done, anything that we could have done at that point to bring the number down beyond this, that any hook we had to do so, especially with the looming threat of a very profitable project of 48 units that could be done on the site.
Yeah,
That's
but
not-
he's not interested in keeping it, which is why he's doing small lot. I mean, there's
You
that
can build
message.
48 units and
That's-
probably sell it in this market for a good penny too. But again, and those could be condos too. It doesn't have to be apartments. Those 48 units under small lot could be, under the density bonus, state density bonus law could be condos and be sold off individually.
Did council's office consider the request that was made for an EIR?
There was an extensive MND done, and the council office took advice from the professional planners, and the fact that there doesn't seem to be any deficiencies or anything that would require an EIR.
EIRs just usually happen on larger projects, right?
Correct. There would have to be a, I'll defer to the,
If I may, Kevin Jones from the LA City Department of City Planning. For the purposes of the Los Angeles jurisdiction, usually EIRs are required when there are, after applying, if there are impacts that remain after the application of mitigation measures, it's likely that then you would then default to an environmental impact report, and that's how it usually works. Is that correct? In this jurisdiction?
significant impact.
Yeah, there's.
No, any impact. If an impact remains after the application of mitigation
No,
measures,
significant.
Yes.
If there's significant impacts that remain after imposition of all feasible mitigation measures.
in this case, they identified mitigation measures that would work with regards to air quality, noise, and traffic. And oh, by the way, they analyzed the traffic and found that there would not be a significant impact. As such, following the requirements of the California Environmental Quality Act and the city's guidelines, there wouldn't be a nexus for us as planners to require an EIR.
And if I may add, this project doesn't require zone variance, zone change, general plan amendment, or density bonus. It's strictly the map, the specific plan permit compliance that's in front of us today, and the environmental related to those.
So the community plan requires an environmental impact report, right?
No, the state law requires, and I think I'm speaking out of turn, and I should leave these questions to the city attorney.
Community plan required an environmental report?
No, there's no separate authority under city law of what CEQA would be required, it's what CEQA requires. CEQA requires environmental review. You start with an initial study, if you can find you can mitigate all your impacts to less than significant, then you can approve it with a mitigated negative declaration.
Any other inquiry? Thank you very much.
Can I clarify one additional point? That's staff's process to review a project. your review as a decision maker is the fair argument standard. So if you find, based on the whole of the administrative record, including evidence submitted by appellants or others, that there is substantial evidence of a fair argument that all of the impacts are not mitigated to less than significant, that would require additional analysis, if not an EIR. It would kick it back to staff to do additional analysis.
You want rebuttal? Come on up.